5.
Welcome to Mario Kart!
Of course it's on the list. What more did you expect?
Number 4.
Much like its older brother Cruisin' USA, Cruisin' Exotica has the same arcade style, mainly because it originally was an arcade game. The N64 version was developed in 2000 by Midway and Gratuitous Games. When you turn on the game, you are greeted by a spinning wheel with a cool 3D effect. You later find out that this is also the cursor for choosing what mode you want. Oh, and what's that? Yep, also has its own theme song. The main mode of the game, Exotica, is almost like a story mode. You go through all the tracks in the game in order. Now the cars are just average, but the tracks are the weirdest things. Some of the tracks are normal, like Hong Kong or Ireland, but then there are the weird ones. You can race from the bottom of Atlantis to the dinosaur-infested Amazon to the surface of Mars. Why Mars? I don't know. It almost has that unrealism like Cruisin' USA, only more extreme. The stage you start out in is Korea. It's really fun spinning around in the green towns and... whoa! That plane was flying awfully close to the ground. Well, I think the designers were really proud of this plane, because it can be found in almost every stage. The funny thing is that your rookie partner has something to say for each track you choose.
Las Vegas is so excited! Let's go to India! Ireland is so green! Mars!
In some levels, your windshield can get hit by bugs or pterodactyl poop. You do find yourself bouncing all over the place, but in a fun but not too frustrating way. It's really funny to see yourself get a boost and go straight into the back of an opponent's car. Oh man. There are some things off in this game, like the whales in the Atlantis level sound a little bit different. And the control is also too grippy. I know there is another game in the Cruisin' series called Cruisin' World, but it didn't appeal to me as much as the others. In this level, everything can go flying. You can also play as some interesting characters. A clown? An alien? Is that a baby? This game is messed up.
Number 3.
First, I just want to say flat out I love Star Wars, and the pod race scene is one of my favorite scenes in the entire prequels. Now there's one word that can describe why I love this game: speed. For me, it's all about speed. I love games that go fast. Plus, I love how you can race around in many different Star Wars worlds. You can race on Tatooine and Malastare. There are also many references to the movie. You can play pretty much as every character from the movie, with even ones that seem new, like Bazi Baranta. The Boonta track seems very faithful to the movie, with the thin cavern when Anakin passes all the pod racers, and the wide field where I believe Sebulba crashes. And the way you can crash is very similar to the way Mahana crashes in the movie. There's also something funny that happens after you finish a race. If you stay on the screen that shows the final times of all the players, you will hear this. Yes, that is a creature humming the Cantina Band song. Now when you do the tournament, first you see a pit droid by the hologram machine. But the cool thing is that when you do free play mode, different racers are standing by it. The annoying thing about some of the tracks is that they have certain areas with very thin holes. It practically takes pure luck just to make it through. Other than that, you'll find yourself smashing straight into the walls. Anyway, out of all the drivers you can race as, I normally chose Tinto Pagaliz, mainly because I like the O-shape of the pod racing car, even if it didn't help much when he crashed in the movie. Also, of the 9 tracks to race at, the race on Uvo 4 is my favorite just because of this part. The involuntary spinning and the sense of zero gravity is what makes this track so amazing. Just watch out for these lasers or you'll find yourself sleeping with gooberfish. So you're a kid in the 1990s, and you're at your local game store. Then you come across a game called F-Zero X. Immediately, you remember a groundbreaking game called F-Zero with amazing 3D graphics on a normally 2D console, the Super Nintendo. So you wonder how much better they could make it switching to a new, more advanced console. So you buy it, bring it home, push it in your N64 and hit the power switch. Now you know you're in for something good. F-Zero has it all: speed, graphics, sound, characters, stages, music. Everything is perfect. There are so many things I love about this that I'm just going to list them out. First off, I want to say that the concept of this game is what got me to like it. Spaceships hovering around, flying through the sky. I know some games took on this style of racing, for example Aero Gauge. I really do enjoy that game because you can hover as well as fly. But it really has many flaws. There aren't many cool options for tracks and cars, and I can't seem to figure out how to do that boost at the beginning that the CPU seemed to do no problem. It was though a good game to almost make it to this list. Anyway, F-Zero was developed by Nintendo EAD, and ironically, there's a character in the actual game named Mr. EAD. Also, there's a character named James McCloud, who himself and his car look like they're from Star Fox. After you finish an entire Grand Prix with a final score of first place, the fireworks that go off towards the end form the character which you are playing as. In the Joker Cup, there is a track called The Big Hand, which is the shape of a hand. And there's a track that has the name, music, and tracks inspired directly from Mario Kart's Rainbow Road. One of my favorite tracks is Sand Ocean from the Jack Cup, because you can completely spin out control in those tunnels. Another great thing is that no matter how low your place is, it will still let you continue on to the next track. One of my favorite characters are Gumar and Shiu, because of the fact that there are two people controlling. And lastly, for some reason, I like seeing the number at the top that normally says 30 drop down because it makes you wonder who supposedly lost their machine. Now, even though I love this game, doesn't mean that I think there are at least two flaws. One, the narration voice could be a bit louder so you could hear it better. And two, why is the main menu song have that low, creepy voice in the background? What could it mean? Well, now we made it down to number 1, so let's quickly recap. Number 10, Lego Racers by High Voltage Software in 1999. Number 9, Mickey Speedway USA by Rareware in 2000. Number 8, Ridge Racer 64 by Namco in 2000. Number 7, Cruisin' USA by Midway in 1996. Number 6, Iggy's Wrecking Balls by Iguana Entertainment in 1998. Number 5, Mario Kart 64 by Nintendo EAD in 1997. Number 4, Cruisin' Exotica by Gratuitous Games in 2000. Number 3, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer by LucasArts in 1999. And number 2, F-Zero X by Nintendo EAD in 1998. And now it's time for the number 1, in my opinion, best racing game on the N64.
Number 1.
Late one night, I had my decision on my original top 10 list finished, with F-Zero X being number 1. So I decided to play a game that I haven't played in a while. So I turned it on and started playing. I began playing for a few minutes, then a few hours. Then the next day I realized how much I loved this game, and knew that its greatness of this certain game proved that it deserved number 1 spot on my top 10 racing games list. This game is none other than
Welcome to Destruction!
Yes, Destruction Derby 64 is the rightful deserver of the crown for #1 racing game on the N64. It was developed by Looking Glass Studios and published by THQ, and released in 1999. The main idea of the game is to run into your opponents, hoping that they will blow up first until you're the last one left. Now some people may think this isn't a racing game, but I feel it's more than a racing game. You race against so many things. You race against the seconds in order to beat the time limit. You race against opponents to be the last one standing. You race to the checkpoints on oncoming cars in order to raise the time limit. It builds so much suspense when you have one opponent left and you both have low health. You just hope that they hit a destroyed car or other stable objects before you do so you can win. The main awesome thing in this game is that there are so many setups for awesome flips and jumps. I mean, just watch. Sometimes I find myself just doing this intentionally just to see how crazy the cars can go. There are some disturbing aspects to the game. When you destroy a car, it bursts into flames and the car is reduced to a burning wreck. What happened to the driver? Well, when looking into the rules at the beginning of every track, it refers to the exploding cars as kills. How messed up is that? Even worse, you get 20 points per kill. And even more disturbing, the narrator cheers you on to make a kill, while a large audience watches. Aside from that fact, my favorite stage for the derby part would be the junkyard because of the crazy jumps you can do. As for the racing, it would be Metro Challenge, probably because of this jump here. So awesome. There's also a desert stage with a casino. I've noticed casino type stages are quite reoccurring on racing games. I absolutely hate Destruction Junction though because the time always ends up running out on me. There's another odd thing in this game. There's a stage named Ground Zero. I doubt there's any chance they could do this today since it shares the same name as the Ground Zero in New York. Only in this version you're driving around and smashing cars in it. Other than that, I love this game. The tracks, the cars, the textures, the sound effects, the narrator, even the music seem practically perfect. When I get bored I find myself playing this, therefore deserving its place at #1. Well, that wraps up my opinion of the top 10 racing games. So have fun and I'll see you next time. Didn't see your favorite racing game? Then click here to see some other racing games that almost made it to this list. Or click here to see my LEGO racers I built. And don't forget to subscribe to see more.